The sun was soft and warm in the late afternoon. Balloons touched the fence and moved in the light wind. A small grill stood near the corner. The smell of fresh corn and chicken filled the air. Laughter rose and fell like waves. In the middle of the yard, a little girl wore a paper crown. It was her 7th birthday. Her mother tied a ribbon to a chair. Her father slid a tray onto the patio table. Music played from a small speaker, not too loud, just a happy beat for a happy day. The family had planned this party with care. They sent notes to a few friends. They checked the local quiet hours. They cleaned the yard the night before. They kept the gate open so guests could come and go safely. Grandparents sat under a big umbrella. 2 cousins drew stars on a chalkboard. An aunt cut fruit and set it in neat rows. Everything looked simple and bright. In the next house, a new neighbor stood by a window. It had been a long week at work. The neighbor felt tired and a little tense. The sound of children made them pause. The neighbor did not know this family well. They had moved in only 2 months ago. The neighbor looked at the clock and worried. Will the music get louder? Will cars block the street? What if this goes very late? The neighbor thought about walking over to ask. But worry pushed faster than courage. The neighbor took a phone and dialed the non-emergency line for help. The call was calm. The neighbor said there was a noise concern. The dispatcher asked a few simple questions. How many people? Any danger? Any shouting? The neighbor said no danger. Just music and people. I think it might be too much. The dispatcher thanked the neighbor and said an officer would check. The call ended in less than a minute. The neighbor put down the phone, then watched through the curtain, heart beating a little too fast. Back in the yard, the birthday girl laughed as she tried to blow soap bubbles. The bubbles floated over the fence like tiny moons. A small dog chased them with big energy and small legs. The mother checked the music volume on her phone app. The father looked at the time and nodded. Cake would come at 5. Candles were ready. Plates were stacked. The family wanted the party to end before sunset. They wanted it smooth. They wanted it kind. The street was quiet except for that soft beat and the happy talk. Then a patrol car rolled into view. No siren, no flash, just a steady car and a careful driver. The officer parked without blocking anyone. The officer stepped out and took a slow look around. Children, balloons, a neat yard. A grill with a closed lid. The officer kept both hands visible and walked to the gate with a friendly face. The mother saw the uniform first. Her smile steadied, but her eyes showed a small question. Had something happened? The father, inside the house for a moment, heard a knock at the side gate. He set down a box of candles and came out to the patio. The grandparents turned in their chairs. The cousins held the chalk still. The dog stopped barking and sat like a statue. Good afternoon, the officer said in a warm tone. How are you all today? The voice held no edge. It was careful and balanced. The mother stepped closer. Good afternoon, officer. We are well. It is a birthday party. Is everything okay? The officer nodded. I got a call about a possible noise issue. I just want to make sure everyone is safe and the volume is within the rules. The mother opened the gate with a gentle hand. Of course, she said. We can show you the volume on the app. We checked the time. We plan to end before sunset. The officer smiled and waited near the fence. The children watched with wide eyes. The birthday girl held her crown steady with both hands as if a wind might take it. Inside the house, the father picked up his jacket. He had arrived from work less than an hour ago. He was still in uniform. He had planned to change after the candles, but the knock changed the plan. He took a breath and walked to the doorway that faced the yard. He stepped out into the light with a calm face and a careful posture, the kind that shows respect and trust. In that same moment, the neighbor peeked from the window. The neighbor saw the officer at the gate. The neighbor saw the family turn toward the house. Then the neighbor saw the father step outside in uniform. The uniform told a story in 1 second. It said service. It said duty. It said he knows the rules because he works to keep people safe. The neighbor's breath caught. Fingers held the curtain tight. A quiet shock washed over them. The neighbor had called without a word to these people. Now, seeing the uniform, the neighbor felt a deep pause, like a hand pressing the heart to stop and think. The officer noticed the father and gave a respectful nod. The father nodded back. No raised voices. No harsh words. The officer said, "Thank you for opening the gate. I appreciate your time." The mother showed the phone screen. The volume level was clear. It sat well below the limit for daytime hours. The grandparents smiled softly. The cousins went back to drawing stars, but slower now, listening. The dog wagged its tail and looked from the officer to the father and back. The birthday girl whispered to her aunt, "Is everything okay?" The aunt whispered, "Yes, we are fine. We follow the rules. We show kindness." The father came down the steps and stood beside the mother. He rested one hand on the fence rail and waited. The air felt still, as if the whole block held its breath. The neighbor, frozen at the window, did not move. The officer glanced once toward the neighbor's house, then back to the family. The moment felt like a small bridge between people who had not met yet, a bridge made of simple, careful words. The officer took a breath and spoke in a clear, steady voice. "Let's talk," the officer said. "Together we can keep this street calm and happy." The officer stood at the open gate with a calm face. The air smelled like barbecue and sweet cake. The music was soft and had a steady beat. Children watched with quiet eyes. Grandparents sat still under the umbrella. The father and mother stood side by side near the fence. No one spoke fast. No one made a sudden move. It felt like a careful moment that needed careful words. "Good afternoon," the officer said again, steady and kind. "I received a call about a noise concern. I am here to learn the facts and make sure everyone is safe." The officer showed both hands and kept a respectful distance. The badge shone for a second in the sun, then went quiet again. The father nodded. "Thank you for coming," he said. His voice was gentle and clear. "This is our daughter's 7th birthday. We planned a small party. We checked the rules for volume and time. We want to follow them." He stayed still in his uniform, but his eyes were warm. He was not trying to impress anyone. He was trying to show trust. The mother held up her phone. "We are using a volume app," she said. "See this number?" She pointed to the screen. "The level is below the daytime limit. We can turn it even lower if needed. We also plan to end before sunset." Her hands did not shake. She spoke like a person who did the homework before class. The officer leaned a little to read the screen. "Thank you," the officer said. "I appreciate that you have an app and that you check the rules. May I take a few steps inside to listen from the fence line?" The officer looked to the father and mother for a yes. "Please do," the father said. He moved back half a step and opened the path. The officer stepped in slowly, scanning the ground for toys, cords, or anything that might be unsafe. There was nothing in the way. The yard was tidy. A small dog wagged its tail and then lay down near a chair like a tiny guard who trusted the scene. Near the fence, the officer paused. "Could you play the same song and keep it how you had it, please?" the officer asked. The mother tapped the phone once. The beat rose like a soft wave and then settled. The officer listened. The birthday girl watched the officer's face with wide, hopeful eyes. The grandparents exchanged a small smile. The cousins drew a moon next to their stars. "This is acceptable for daytime," the officer said. "I can still hear normal talk at arm's length. That means the sound is not drowning out speech. Thank you for being thoughtful." The officer wrote a small note in a pocketbook. "I will file this as a resolved check if nothing else is a concern." The father exhaled. It was slow. It carried a lot, but it did not show anger. He looked over to the neighbor's window. He could not see anyone now. The curtain was closed tight. He turned back to the officer. "We want good peace on this street," he said. "We are happy to meet our neighbors and talk if someone has a need." The officer nodded. "That is the best path," the officer said. "Often a quick, friendly talk solves things faster than any call. Of course, if there is danger, calling is right. But for sound, a knock at the door can help first." The officer's tone was not sharp. It was a small lesson wrapped in care. The mother lifted a small box from the table. "Would you like a cupcake?" she asked with a smile. "We have chocolate and vanilla." The officer smiled back, surprised and pleased. "Thank you," the officer said. "Vanilla, please." The officer took one cupcake. The birthday girl, brave now, stepped forward with a bright napkin. "For you," she said. The officer thanked her and said, "Happy birthday," in a soft voice that carried only kindness. A guest who had just arrived parked down the street and walked in through the open gate. He saw the uniform and slowed down, unsure. The father waved him in and said, "All good. We are just checking the volume." The guest nodded, set a small gift bag on the table, and stood aside. There was no crowding, no rush. People made space for one another. "May I see your plan for ending time?" the officer asked. The mother showed a small note she kept in her pocket. Cake at 5. Candles at 5:15. Tidy up by 5:45. End by 6. It was written in simple lines like a grocery list. The officer looked impressed. "You two run a tight ship," the officer said with a faint smile. The father smiled a little too. "We try," he said. The officer turned toward the fence again and did one more short listen. No cars were blocked. No walkway was crowded. The grill had a safe space around it. A small metal bucket of water stood by the grill just in case. A fire extinguisher sat near the door, easy to reach. The officer made a second note. Safety items in place. It was not required, but it mattered. "Thank you for opening your gate and answering every question," the officer said. "I will clear the call as checked and calm. If anything changes, I will return, but I believe you will keep your promise to end on time." "We will," the father said. "And if the neighbor wishes to talk, we will listen." He looked at the window again, then back to the officer. "We know trust takes time. We can start today." The birthday girl tugged gently at her crown. "Can we sing now?" she whispered to her mother. The mother glanced at the officer. The officer nodded with a light humor in the eyes. "Sing," the officer said. "Just keep it friendly." The officer took a small step back toward the gate, giving space to the family. Before leaving, the officer placed a simple card on the table. "This has our community number," the officer said. "It includes the noise hours and a free line for neighborhood mediation. It can help if two homes need a calm talk with a third person." The father took the card and thanked the officer. The mother tucked the card under the phone so it would not blow away. The officer walked to the gate and paused. The officer looked once more at the family, the neat yard, the small dog, the soft music, the hopeful faces. "Have a good celebration," the officer said. "You are within the rules. Keep it kind. End on time." Then the officer left the gate open behind, just as it had been, and moved toward the patrol car with slow, even steps. As the car rolled away, the neighbor's curtain shifted. The father saw the small motion but did not stare. He turned to his family and said, "All right, team. Candles soon." The mother turned the music down one small click, a sign of extra care. The children clapped. The grandparents relaxed back into their chairs. The first contact was over. There was no anger, no sharp words, no fear. Only calm voices, clear facts, and a promise to be good neighbors. In that gentle way, the party moved forward, and a door to understanding opened just a little on a quiet street. The party felt calm after the officer left. The small dog slept by the chair. The music was soft. The father checked the time and smiled. "Candles soon," he said. The birthday girl clapped and fixed her crown. The mother brought plates and a bright plastic knife for the cake. Then a small thing went wrong. The wireless speaker blinked and made a sharp pop. For 3 seconds, the volume jumped up on its own. The song sounded too strong, like a drum in a metal room. The father moved fast and tapped the button. The music dropped at once. The yard grew quiet again. "Battery is low," the mother said. She showed the red light on the side. "It may act strange." "We can play even softer," the father said. He took a cable from a drawer and plugged the speaker into an outlet far from the water and the grill. He taped the cable down so no child would trip. The small dog sniffed the tape and then yawned. Across the fence, a second neighbor opened a window. "Could you lower the bass?" the neighbor asked in a careful voice. "The wall hums a little." "Of course," the father said. He used the phone app and moved one simple slider. "Please tell me if this is better." The neighbor listened, waited, and gave a thumbs up. "Thank you," the neighbor said. The window closed softly. The birthday girl looked at her mother. "Are we still okay?" she asked. "We are okay," the mother said. "Small problems can happen. We fix them kindly." They set the cake on the table. Pink frosting shone in the light. The crown on top leaned a little, like it had a secret. The children gathered in a half circle. The grandparents lifted their phones to take a picture. The cousins set down their chalk and joined the line. Just then a cloud covered the sun. The wind rose and pushed the balloons toward the grill. The father moved and held the string. The mother slid the grill lid tighter and checked the bucket of water. The wind passed. The balloons settled. The cloud went on. Another small pause came. The mother's phone buzzed. It was a message from the building group chat. A short note read, Reminder. Quiet hours start at 8 p.m. today. Please end before then. Thank you. The mother smiled. We plan to end at 6, she said to the father. We are still fine. They lit the first candle. The flame shook once and then stood tall. The birthday girl took a breath. Her eyes were bright. Her face showed pure hope. The father looked at the fence. He felt a little knot in his chest. He wanted the neighbor to see this moment and feel safe. A shadow moved near the side gate. Footsteps stopped. The gate did not open. The family paused. The song now was soft like a whisper. The small dog woke and wagged its tail but did not bark. The father stepped 2 paces toward the gate and waited. He did not raise his voice. He did not call out. He only made space. The latch clicked. The new neighbor stood there with careful eyes and a slow breath. In their hand was a pack of paper cups and a juice bottle. The neighbor looked at the father's uniform, then at the cake, then at the birthday girl. I wanted to say something, the neighbor said, voice small but honest. The father nodded once. We are listening, he said. The candles glowed. The wind was quiet. The whole yard waited for the next words. The neighbor stood by the open gate with paper cups and a juice bottle. Their hands were not steady. Their eyes moved from the child's cake to the father's uniform and then to the soft music. The neighbor took a breath that sounded like a small wave. I was not fair, the neighbor said. I called without talking to you. I am sorry. The father did not hurry the moment. He stood with calm shoulders and a quiet face. Thank you for coming, he said. We are here. We can listen. The neighbor stepped 1 pace inside and held out the cups. These are for the party, they said. It is not much, but I want to do something kind. The mother took the cups with a warm smile. Thank you, she said. Would you like to join for the cake? We will end before 6. The neighbor looked surprised. Yes, they said softly. If that is okay. It is okay, the father said. We want peace on this street. They all moved a little to make space near the table. The small dog sniffed the neighbor's shoe and decided everything was fine. The birthday girl watched the new face with open curiosity. The grandparents gave a friendly nod. The neighbor looked at the balloons, the grill, the tidy bags for trash. I did not know you, they said. I moved here last month. My job hours changed. I sleep oddly and small sounds feel big. They placed the juice on the table and straightened the bottle like it needed courage too. The mother understood. Thank you for saying that, she said. We can turn the bass lower. We can keep the gate closed when the wind rises. We are happy to adjust. The neighbor's eyes softened. I also did not know you serve the community, they said, looking at the father's uniform. When I saw you step out, I felt foolish. I should have walked over first. The father nodded. Thank you for being honest, he said. Uniform or not, talking first is the kind way. If there is danger, call. If there is worry, please knock. We will answer. The neighbor looked at the birthday girl. Happy birthday, they said. I hope your wish is big and bright. The birthday girl smiled. My wish is secret, she said. Then she whispered, but it is about friends. The neighbor pressed their lips together and blinked once. That is a good wish, they said. The mother checked the time and tapped the volume app. The sound went 1 small step lower. The father turned the speaker so it faced the center of the yard, not the fence. The wind settled for a while. The sun came back in soft gold. The neighbor glanced at the building group chat on their phone. I saw the reminder, they said. Quiet hours start at 8. Your plan to end at 6 is good. If you ever need help carrying tables, I am strong at lifting. I can assist, thank you, the father said. We help each other. That is how a street becomes a home. A guest poured the juice the neighbor brought. Paper cups passed from hand to hand. The neighbor took one and stood near the cousins who were drawing a small house next to their stars and moon. That looks nice, the neighbor said. Is that our street? The cousins nodded. The neighbor looked around the yard and then up at the sky. When I was a child, they said, our block had a rule. Talk first, call later. We forgot that rule in our rush today. I will remember. The mother placed the knife by the cake. Thank you, she said. We will remember too. The father faced the group. His voice was steady and warm. Shall we sing? He asked. The neighbor set down the cup and stood straight. Yes, they said. Let's sing. In that simple way, one apology, one welcome, one shared rule, the street learned something true about itself. The candles waited. The song was ready. And the next part of the day opened like a door. They stood around the cake with soft smiles. The neighbor held a cup of juice and took a careful breath. The mother checked the time. The father lowered the speaker one more step and turned it toward the center. The birthday girl pressed her hands together, ready for the song. Then the father looked at the neighbor and spoke in a warm, steady voice. "Would you stand with us for the candles?" he asked. "It would mean a lot." The neighbor nodded. "Yes," they said. "Thank you." The mother lit the candles. Tiny flames rose and held still like brave little lights. The family and guests began to sing, quiet, happy, kind. The neighbor sang too, voice a little shaky at first, then stronger. The birthday girl smiled with shy joy. When the song ended, the father raised a hand for one short moment. "Before she blows the candles," he said, "I want to share one promise." He looked to the neighbor, then to the group. "If anyone has a concern, please knock first. If there is danger, call for help. But if it is only worry, talk to us. We will listen." The neighbor cleared their throat. "I made a mistake today," they said. "I called first." "I am sorry." They turned toward the little girl. "Happy birthday. I hope your wish is for good friends." The birthday girl grinned. "It is," she said, "but it is still a secret." Everyone laughed softly. The father nodded to his daughter. "Go on," he said. "Make your wish." She closed her eyes, made a silent wish, and blew. The candles went out together, a gentle puff, a clean end to a small storm. Everyone clapped. The small dog barked once like a tiny drum and then sat, pleased with itself. The mother cut the cake with slow, careful hands, small slices, even slices. The neighbor helped pass plates. The cousins offered forks. The grandparents handed out napkins. It felt like a smooth machine of simple kindness. A phone buzzed on the table, the community number card the officer had left earlier. The father had saved it and sent a short message. "Thanks for the info card. Our block wants a simple guide, quiet hours, contact names, and a talk-first note we can share." Now a reply appeared on the screen. "Happy to help. We can send a one-page guide and a printable sign. Free." The father showed the message to the mother and the neighbor. "This is good," he said. "A simple sheet for everyone. No hard rules, just clear steps and kind words." The neighbor's shoulders eased. "I can print it," they said. "My office has a small printer. I can bring copies to each door tomorrow." The father smiled. "Thank you," he said. "And I will add my number on the bottom. Call me first if you worry about sound or safety at our home." A guest lifted a plate. "We could also plan a small meet and greet next week," they suggested. 1 hour. No loud music. Just names and snacks. "That is perfect," the mother said. "Sunday at 4? The neighbor checked their phone. "Sunday at 4 works for me," they said. "I can bring a folding table and a pitcher." The birthday girl tapped the neighbor's sleeve. "Can we put stars on the sign?" she asked. "Stars mean hope," the neighbor smiled. "Yes," they said. "Stars on the sign." The father turned the speaker off for a moment so the wind and voices could be heard clearly. He looked at the fence, the quiet street, the open sky. "Today," he said, "we choose a better way." Plates moved. Cake was shared. The air felt light. What had begun as a tense afternoon now held a clean plan, a friendly rule, and a promise on paper. As the light shifted gold, a small knock sounded at the front door. Another neighbor, drawn by the soft singing and the calm voices, waiting to see if they, too, could step inside and say hello. The next morning, the street felt fresh and quiet. The father stood at the kitchen table with a pen and the small card the officer left. He wrote a short note on a clean sheet. "Street guide. Talk first for small worries. Call for danger only. Quiet hours 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. Keep walkways clear. Share contact numbers." He added his phone number at the bottom. "Call me first if sound from our home troubles you." He kept the lines short and simple so anyone could read them fast. The mother checked spelling and smiled. "It is clear," she said. "People will like this." At noon, the neighbor sent a message. "I can print copies now." By 2 o'clock, they knocked on the gate with a neat stack of papers, each page with a small row of stars at the top because the birthday girl had asked for stars. The mother taped one copy inside a clear folder to protect it from wind. The father placed it near the front door where visitors could see it. The neighbor kept extra pages for other homes. They walked the street together, father, mother, neighbor, and the birthday girl carrying a small roll of tape. At each door, they left one page and added a friendly note. We are planning a short meet and greet on Sunday at 4 p.m. No loud music. Just names and snacks. All welcome. They did not push or ring many bells. They simply offered kindness and left space for choice. A light wind started. One page tried to fly. The birthday girl laughed and chased it, tiny shoes tapping the sidewalk. The neighbor caught the page and held it like a butterfly. Got it, they said with a grin. The little team moved on. Back at home, the father did a quick check of the yard. He adjusted the speaker position to face inward as a rule. He made a small mark on the patio where safe volume sounded right, so he would not guess each time. He placed the fire extinguisher near the door and put a label above it. Easy reach. He moved the metal bucket back to its corner and wrote, "Water do not dump," on a strip of tape. It felt like setting simple traffic signs for a calm road. The mother updated the building chat. Thank you to everyone who waved or said hello today. Our guide is on your doors. Please tell us if we missed you. Meet and greet Sunday 4-5 p.m., front yards only. We will keep it short and quiet. Replies came in like small bells. Thanks for the page. Love the stars. We can bring cookies. I can share my toolbox if anyone needs it. In the afternoon, the second neighbor from the day before, the one who asked about bass, stopped by with a small sound meter keychain. It is simple, they said. Green is fine. Yellow means lower a bit. Red means too much. You can borrow it. The father thanked them and clipped it near the speaker. He turned on a low song for 10 seconds. The light stayed green. He turned it off again and nodded. Before sunset, the neighbor practiced one more step. A knock first test. They walked to the father's door and tapped twice. The father opened it once. Yes? He said with a smile. Nothing wrong, the neighbor said. Just showing how easy it is. Easy, the father agreed. Door first, then phone, then, only if needed, official help. They shook hands. That evening, the family kept the house calm. No music, just gentle talk. The birthday girl drew more stars and wrote one word under them. Friends. The small dog curled at her feet, safe and happy. On the fridge, the Sunday plan hung with a magnet. It was simple, 1 hour, names, snacks, no speakers, end on time. The street had a guide now. The worry had a path. And the promise from the party had turned into steps that any neighbor could follow. Sunday came with clear light and a soft breeze. At 4 o'clock, the father set a small table on the lawn. The mother placed a short sign on the front gate. Welcome, neighbors. Names and snacks. For 5 p.m. Under the title were small stars, the same ones the birthday girl liked. A plate of simple cookies sat in the center. No speaker stood on the grass, only voices ready to meet. The neighbor arrived first with a pitcher of juice and paper cups. Their steps were steady now. Hello, they said, smiling. Thank you for the invite. The father greeted them with an easy nod. The mother handed them a name sticker. The birthday girl placed a star sticker on the pitcher for fun. The small dog wagged a full hello. Soon, more people walked over. A student from the corner house brought sliced mango. A retired couple carried folding chairs. The second neighbor, who had shared the sound meter, brought a small tray of homemade crackers. Someone else, new to the street, brought a simple salad and a shy wave. In 10 minutes, the lawn held a neat half-circle of friendly faces. No one spoke loudly. People took turns one by one saying their names, their work hours, and one thing that helps them rest. I work nights, said the student. I need quiet after sunrise. We go to bed early, said the retired couple. Please let us know if a delivery truck blocks the driveway. The mother shared their plan. 2. If we host, we end before sunset, keep music low, and keep the path open. The father raised the new guide page and pointed to the 3 short lines. Talk first, call for danger only, honor quiet hours. Small questions came and went like smooth pebbles. Where can guests park? Where does trash go? What time does the gate close? Each answer was simple. Each answer made the street feel a little more like a team. Halfway through, the patrol car rolled past at safe speed. The officer from the birthday afternoon noticed the group and slowed. The window came down. Afternoon, the officer said. Everything good? The father stepped forward. We made a guide, he said. The officer smiled. Looks great, the officer said. Keep talking to each other. It works. A short wave and the car moved on. The neighbor felt a quiet warmth in the chest. They looked at the birthday girl drawing tiny stars on name stickers. "I learned something," the neighbor said to the group. "Next time I feel worry, I will knock first. It is better to ask, not guess." Heads nodded. The retired couple added, "And we will do the same." As 5 o'clock neared, the father checked the time and gave a soft clap. "Thank you for coming," he said. "We promised 1 hour. We will end on time." He looked around the circle. "If you ever need help, tools, a hand to carry, someone to watch a package, please ask." People stood, folded chairs, and carried dishes home. The neighbors stayed a moment longer. They faced the father and mother. "Thank you for your patience," they said. "I am glad I walked over." The father answered with gentle truth, "We are glad too." The mother added, "Our door is open for kind talks." When the last guest left, the yard was clean. The sign came down. The stars, drawn by a child's careful hand, stayed bright in memory. The small dog curled by the step, tired from greeting. Inside, the birthday girl taped the guide page on the fridge under her word, "Friends." The father set his phone down and looked at his family. "We kept our promise," he said. "Respect first. Ask first." The mother squeezed his hand. The house felt steady. Outside, the street rested in the soft light. No sirens, no sharp words. Only a new habit. Knock, listen, and then decide. The story ended the way good streets grow, one calm choice at a time. And the simple message remained for anyone who needed it. Speak kindly, follow clear rules, and let neighbors be neighbors.